Hey everybody, my name is Justin. I'm a part-time reseller located here in St. Louis, and every week I bring you a video like this where I show you everything that I sold for the week in my reselling business. I'll go through the total number of sales that I've had, how much I paid for all the goods, how much I sold them, where I sold them, how much I grossed, how much I netted, kind of all those details on a week-by-week basis. I'll also go through the top 10 sales. I'm not going to walk through every sale that I've had, but I will pick out the top 10 highest net sales just so you can see what's selling on eBay right now. Let's dig in right now. You're looking at Airtable, which is what I use for my inventory management system. And so you'll see down here, I've got, what did we do? 51 sales in the past week, which is up. I had 39 sales last week. So things are definitely picking up, which is great. Part of that is because I've been sourcing more lately. It's winter here in St. Louis and not a whole lot of sourcing opportunities during the winter. Typically I go to yard sales, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, but during the winter it's almost exclusively thrift stores and estate sales. And I'm just sort of going through back old inventory, but outdoor events for reselling are picking up, and I'm starting to source more, and therefore my sales are going to increase in lockstep with that. So 51 items sold. It looks like I spent a total of $220 on the items that sold this week. I grossed $1,795, which is up as well. I think it was $1,300 last week, so definitely going up. And my net for the week after all fees, taxes, and cost of goods is just over $1,000, and I did 787 is the average ROI for the stuff sold this week. Let's dig into the top 10. The first sale that I'll talk through, which comes in at number 10, is this Nike Air Jordan Jumpman logo t-shirt. So last week I talked about a big pickup of about 500 or 600 Nike new tag shirts that I bought for $1,000. This is just another one of those shirts that sell. You'll probably see these popping up quite a bit as I walk through this, but it was a really good pickup. This sold for $39.99 and I ended up netting $28.87 on it. So pretty good. Took about 3 months to sell and a good ROI. So I'm pretty happy with that one. Next up, number 9 is this vintage Lord of the Rings movie shirt. This was a fun find. I found this one at Salvation Army not that long ago. How long ago did I find it? Let's see. Yeah, 22 days ago. So just about 3 weeks ago, I found and listed this. And it's really cool. It's like from 2001, and it's a promo shirt for Lord of the Rings. The front is a little bit boring, but the back has a cool... this cool Fellowship of the Rings graphic here. You can see it's from 2001, and pretty happy with this. You don't find shirts that are worth 40, 45 bucks very often. Usually shirts that I buy are in the $15 to $25 range, so this was definitely a good find and didn't take too long to sell. All right, what's next? Oh yeah, Logitech, this trackball. So always keep an eye out for these. Old vintage mice can definitely be worth a lot, especially trackballs. If you see trackballs, definitely pick them up. What did I pay for this? It was basically nothing. Yeah, I paid $3. I think I got it at Salvation Army as well. Let's see. No, got this in a estate sale. That doesn't seem right. Anyway, I definitely got that at Salvation Army. I think my date is wrong. Either way, this sold very quickly for $45, shipping included. Again, anytime you see a trackball like this, definitely pick it up. Actually, it was like, gosh, it would have been last summer. I was at an estate sale and I found like 7 or 8 trackballs at one estate sale. It was like in one box, and I bought them all for $1. I ended up making, I don't even know, $200 or $300 just off that one box of trackballs. So that was an exciting find. All right. Next up, number 7 is, J.W. Anderson, these All-Stars. So if you watched last week, I showed you a picture of all these, I think about 187 different pairs of Converse All-Stars that are they were a collaboration with a British designer named J.W. Anderson. I sold these on Mercari. I don't do a whole lot of sales on Mercari, but I'm branching out trying to find new platforms to sell these J.W. Anderson Converse shoes on, and this is one of them. I think I did pretty well, actually. This one sold for $50 plus shipping, so I ended up netting $34.99 on that deal, which is pretty good for the Converse. And so I, $10 per shoe that I paid, but netted $34.99, so that's pretty good. All right, next up is this Sphero Star Wars BB-8. It's like a remote controlled little device that you can control with your smartphone. I found a couple of these now. This one was actually at Savers. I found it at a thrift store. I found two of them sitting right next to each other for $7 each, which Savers around our area are very expensive. I would have expected this to be $20 to $25, but the fact that there were two of them and they were only $7 each was sort of crazy. Picked both of those up, and this is the second one, so I've sold both of them now. Did pretty well on them. $7 each, and they sold for $60 plus shipping. So I netted on both of those, but $36.37. So pretty good find, rounding out number 6 on the top 10 sales of this week. Next up, let's see. This is a Schumann Bavaria Germany set of dinner plates. So we got this at around this time last year, maybe April of last year, but we followed up on a ad on Facebook, and the Facebook ad was pretty cryptic. It said I've got a bunch of vintage kitchenware that I'm trying to get out of my basement. And they wanted $500 for it. And so I went over there, and it was sort of a hoarder situation. This woman was in a kind of a tough spot. She had her entire house was jam-packed with stuff. It was sort of crazy. But either way, we agreed for $500 to clear out effectively a corner of her basement, which was all vintage kitchenware and dishes and all sorts of stuff. I'll show a picture up here of what that looked like. It filled an entire box truck and then some. And so we've been selling all this stuff over the last year. This is another one. This is a pretty high selling set here. $60 that we made on this, or that we sold it for. $60, and we netted $38.44. Part of the reason the net's so high there is because our cost of goods is very low on this stuff. Again, we had thousands of pieces, and we paid $500. A lot of that we sent into our antique booth. A lot of it we donated back to the thrift store. Probably half of it we donated back to the thrift store. And then the rest of it was sold on eBay. And this is one of those. And so we're getting low. We don't have a whole lot of her stuff left, but most of it is gone. All right. Next up is this, Nintendo DS Lite. Now, these are always good pickups. This is another one at Savers. Again, traditionally a very expensive place to buy stuff, especially electronics like this, but there were two of them behind the glass, and they were cheap. I don't even know how much we paid for them. $12, which is sort of crazy. It goes to show you, when it comes to thrift store prices, even thrift stores that are traditionally expensive, they're just not, they're inconsistent. The people that are actually pricing them, maybe there's some people that know the value of things, maybe there's others that don't. There's probably high turnover rate with employees at thrift stores. So, even if you have a thrift store that's traditionally expensive, go back on different days, on different times of the year, different months, because you'll probably still end up finding deals. I found 2 Nintendo DSs. I had this pink one, and there's a blue one that I found that has not sold yet. But this one sold very quickly. It sold in a day. And so definitely a surprise find, honestly, for $12 at the thrift store. Okay, next up is this JVC DVD VHS combo. Not a recorder, it's just a player. Anytime I see these, I pick them up. They always sell fast and for quite a bit of money. This was at an estate sale last week, so it sold very quickly. I think it sold within a day, same day. So same day I listed it, sold. Actually, at the estate sale, I found the remote first. I just saw it sitting on a table, and I picked it up thinking, well, this remote will probably sell for $20 if I don't find the player, but I did find the player, and so it always sells better with the remote, so keep an eye out for that. This sold for $80, free shipping. I end up shipping things like this through FedEx, and it ends up being pretty cheap. But folks can be scared to buy bigger items like this, thinking it's going to be a lot to ship, but really it's not. $12.61 to ship this thing. If you have the right boxes and packing materials, really easy. I netted $50.21 on there, so that's a pretty great find. All right, next up is this vintage Big Sky Carver's wood decoy duck. So I just have a rule out when I'm sourcing stuff. If you see a duck, at least look at it. Probably buy it. People love ducks for some strange reason. I don't know. I don't understand it. My kids love ducks. They were mad that I sold this. But this was priced at a flea market for $8, and looked at it, like, I don't really know much about ducks. It looked hand painted, so that was a good sign. It looked like it had glass eyes, which is always a good sign as well. But then you flip it over and you see a couple of markings here that are going to make it obvious that it's probably worth more. First of all, it is vintage, so it's 2002 and we're in 2022, and I consider anything 20 years and older vintage. You may have a different rule, but that's the rule that I use. And it's also a limited run, so 1 of 24. And it looked like it's probably signed. Honestly, you know, if you look at comps, they have this big sky Carvers have a lot of signed ducks like this. The only weird thing is this just doesn't look like a signature. It looks like somebody was writing their name, not a signature. So, you know, I think I marked it as, yeah, I marked it as signed. Honestly, I don't know if it was or not. It seems to be, but anyway, it sold very quickly. It sold same day for $90 plus shipping, and so I ended up netting $61.77 after all fees, taxes, and cost of goods. So great pickup. Definitely keep an eye out for ducks. All right, the next and last one, number one, the flip of the week, is this Swatch watch. And I love this find. This is my favorite find in a long time. I went to an estate sale a week or two ago, and this was on, you know, they often have like a table of jewelry. It's like everything is $1 or $2 or $3. And this was not even the first day of the estate sale. This was like the second day of the estate sale. And so lots of people passed this over. I've only found one other Swatch watch. Actually, my wife found it, and it sold for like $80. So I know to keep an eye out for Swatch watches. And so I saw this one and I picked it up, and I think I paid $3 for it. Unfortunately, the band was in really bad shape, and actually while I was cleaning it, the band just broke off. So I took the band completely off and just sold it as is with just the watch. I didn't sell it as is. It's working. Actually, I paid to have a new battery put in there. I go to a jewelry store and they put it in there for me for $10. So my total in on this is $13. But as you can see, it sold for $199. With free shipping. And it did not take long to sell at all, 9 days, so just over a week. But Swatch watches can be kind of difficult to identify. I use Google Lens a lot to, you know, take a photo of an item, and it will Google search against that photo and help you find it. Google Lens, I don't think is smart enough to really be able to determine the actual model of a Swatch watch. Maybe it will every once in a while, but I have found that on really intricate items like this, it does not do well. And so it's really important, though, when you're going to sell a watch like this, that you know exactly what it is, because people have like searches set up to find these sorts of things, these specific models. And so this one was like a Technosphere GK101. It was completely working, had a fresh battery. I ended up using this website, which is swatchandbeyond.com, to identify it. What I did is I went in here to like a list of all their watches and basically sorted by highest price. Fingers crossed, hoping that it was going to be an expensive one. And shockingly, it was. It was one of the highest priced ones on there. Brand new, it would have gone for $350 to $400. In the condition that I had, working condition, but needed a new band, I got $200 for it within a week, and I paid $3. And it was just sitting there for a couple days at an estate sale. I love those finds. It's really fun and exciting to see that. Ended up netting $157.14, so almost a 5,000% ROI. So very exciting, very exciting find, and I love finding stuff like that, obviously. All right, that's the top 10 sales. Again, 51 things this week, almost $1,800 in gross sales, and $1,000 in net. What was the worst selling one, though? Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, it was a Super Nintendo game. Here we go. Championship Pool Super Nintendo sold for $7.99, free shipping. Did not make a whole lot of money on that. You might be asking, why even bother listing that? Normally, I wouldn't go and buy this at a thrift store or garage sale. If I found it, even if it was for free, I may not take it anyway. It's almost just not worth it. But I ended up buying lots of things. So this came with a lot over a year ago, almost a year ago, 361 days ago. I bought a Super Nintendo lot that had the console and a bunch of different games. And so I bought that, and this was just in there. And so, I could either throw it away or donate it, or I could sell it and make some money on it. And I made $2.19, so why not? That was my lowest performing one. You'll notice there's one that's actually lower that I made $0 on it. That's just because it was out of my personal stock, and so I don't want that to show up as any profit in my records, so that I don't have to pay taxes on it, because I actually paid more for it originally than I sold it for, so that's actually $0. Anyway, That is everything for this week. I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going on vacation. My store's on vacation. So I'll be back a week from now and turn that store back on and get it up and running. It usually takes a while to start generating sales again, but I'll be back with another video like this in 2 weeks, and I'll see you then. Thanks.